The crypto revolution is happening as we speak. And the people that are building this stuff are the most competent and inspiring that we have ever met. If you're curious about DAOs, DeFi, NFTs, Web3, this is the place to be. We are Boy and Badger, two turbo artists on an adventure in the wild Web3. The DAOs are in the house. Let it rip.
There we go. Hello, everyone. Today we are joined by funkmasterflex, and funkmasterflex was the first hip hop DJ to have his own radio show in New York, 1992. Hot 97 was the name of the radio show. So I just gotta first ask the question, funkmasterflex. Are you a hip hop DJ on the side when you're not doing crypto?
Yeah, as you can tell from my voice, that's like I'm on the beats 24/7. But no, I mean Funkmaster Flex has been my gamer tag handle, all that since I was like 10 years old. So it's kind of always been around. But yeah, it gives me a fun little cartoon on the when I'm hopping on Discord. And yeah, it's been a good stage name. It's been fun walking around. Everyone call me Funkmaster Flex or Mr. Flex, all that type of stuff. So it's been fun.
That's nice. Did you get the name? Did you take the name because you like hip hop and you like funkmasterflex?
Kind of. So I definitely heard of Funkmaster Flex, but my last name is Garfunkel. So some of my friends call me Funk, and Funkmaster Flex was just like normal 10th grader playing COD. That was just the gamer tag.
Just to
Fair
be
enough.
curious, are you related to the famous Art Garfunkel?
No, I'm not. Some people ask me if they're like older people. I'll say, oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, more cred maybe with the older crowd.
Exactly.
The young one's gonna be like, this. You can call me Al. One of the guys was a part of a group called Simon and Garfunkel, and that's the guy. But now he can't sing anymore. They don't get it.
I was convinced that Garfunkel was like a first name, like Simon is a first, like this what you call a regular person. And
Yeah,
Art to me didn't sound like a real name.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna? Yeah, I mean, I couldn't wake up in the morning calling my son Art if I decided to.
What, do you have any kids? What's the
No,
names?
I don't. I was just kidding about that. I'm only 23, so I graduated college in 2020.
You never know. You might be
Whoop whoop.
active.
Yeah, got a little bit of time, hopefully.
Never know. You never know. One time you're there and you have a kid born in April next year. Who knows?
Shout out to our buddy Zach.
Shout out to our buddy who's waiting for a kid. Yeah. So,
Nice.
Funkmaster Flex, how did you get into crypto of all places in the world?
Yeah, for sure. So I've always kind of been in and around it. So I'm 23, like I said, and just like it was always like kind of around in high school. So a friend of mine, I don't know, alleged got like scammed on trying to buy a fake ID with Bitcoin. And that was like when we were like 15, 16. And like that and I swear like you talk to people, that's like a common story. So not too crazy to hear, especially like kids my age. But crypto's like always been like a thing that's going on in the background. So like when I saw DeFi coming up, it wasn't DeFi, it was just like a different type of finance. It wasn't like some crazy crypto thing. So I started to get interested in, but I didn't like look at it as like, oh, should I like do this as a career? It was more like, oh, that's interesting. Let's see like how it goes and where it happens. And then once all like these DAOs popped up, I was like, oh, you can actually like do work and like there's these cool like coordination problems we're trying to fix and all this cool stuff in DeFi. And then it was like, all right, got to dive in. This is definitely something I want to do.
Cool. And now you work. Do you work at IndexCoop time.
That was the worst pronunciation ever.
Ambiguous.
Q.
No, dude, it just adds to the myth of the name. That's perfect. Yeah, so yeah, I guess I'm full time in IndexCoop. I guess I told myself like 2 months ago when I quit my previous job that I'm gonna be full time like Web3 crypto, whatever that may mean. So most of my times, yeah, I've been spending at IndexCoop, which has been great just because like from a reputational standpoint, like I think everyone appreciates the products we do. Like we're definitely looking at like a very specific group of like market participants. Like not everyone wants an index fund, but when we do, like I think people know where to look. So it's been good, like trying to get more relationships, learn more about the space. Like Index Group's been a perfect place for me. But I also do some work at not some work. I'm also part of Kraus House DAO. I help out at Juicebox DAO. They do some cool fundraising stuff. Just as you guys know, just always hopping around in Discords. So.
Which is
How
your
it is.
favorite Discord?
Favorite Discord? Damn, that's a good question. I was so I'm not like an Omi by any means. Like I mean definitely a cool protocol. Olympus is great DAO, but their Discord is insane. It's definitely like the most packed Discord I've ever seen. And like just hopping in there every once in a while, just seeing like all the emojis on stuff. I'm always trying to get more index coop people to throw like 1,000 emojis on stuff just because it's fun, man. Always got stuff booming. I guess that's when number goes up. It's easy to do that, but we'll see. They still got a good group, so it's been. I always get pumped when I hop in their Discord to see what's going on.
So shout out to Olympus. And I've never actually been in Olympus. I've been in some of the forks, and I think it's pretty similar. A lot of I don't know. For me, I'm a bit older than you, 28, so I get overwhelmed very quickly. It's like so many things going on at the same time. But I guess that's where you go there, right? Like the energy.
For sure, as long as there's a place to put the energy, then hopefully it's okay. But yeah, usually there's not. Usually, I wouldn't say usually there's not. The past month, there's definitely hasn't been as many places for a bunch of crazy energy to go. So probably a lot of negative talk. But we'll get through stuff like that. Not too worried.
It's it's quality projects. They'll end up on top. It's just a matter of their times.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
That's what they say.
that's what to say. Yeah, but
I don't know who they are, but they do say a lot of things.
I don't know.
about
Like,
a lot of
is
things.
all the meme coins? Would you consider them? I mean, they're still pumping from time to time.
Oh, I mean, if you look, I mean, there's obviously like the macro economy you can look at with everything in crypto. But all I know is like if I look at a very long time horizon, like none of the meme coins are going away. Because if I were to ask my friends my age, they ask me about meme coins. And like I don't care how cool or good or whatever we do in crypto, like Dogecoin will be there 50 years from now. And like I wouldn't tell I mean I have friends who've made money in it, like they can sell whatever, but like I wouldn't recommend to buy it, but I wouldn't recommend anyone sell any of their meme coins. Like the internet's like the biggest joke. So why would if we have internet money, why would money not be a joke as well? Like it's totally magical. I don't think it's too crazy. I think it's nice to talk to. I mean, we have so many people in the TradFi world in DeFi. It's great to see like talk to like no coiners and they just get so upset about it. And like that's the point. That's why it was created and that's why it's probably always going to stick around. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's like one of the
There's
best.
always going to be someone like a keyboard warrior being fucking upset about the lack of substance in a project or something, and that's going to add even more fuel to the fire.
Exactly. Yeah, it turns into a crazy cycle, really.
If you would make a meme coin, what would it be about?
Oh, dude, that's a good question. Uh, it would definitely have to. It would definitely have like some sort of like rebase mechanic connected to Dogecoin or something, like something insane like that. Like somehow it just pumps every time, or like the supply goes up a crazy amount. Because it's like you talk to people about Dogecoin and they're like, oh, there's like you're asking me about like supply and stuff, and like who owns it. It's like yeah, that's literally the question. Like that's what we're it's like what we're doing when we like step into finance, right? So some like crazy dynamics would be cool. I don't know what I'd call it. Probably I was when I played college football, I was number 69, so probably throw something like that in there.
Yeah, so it sounds like a
Whoop,
good
whoop.
coin.
Coin. The 69 coin.
69 coin, sure. Yeah, that rapper too, it's 69. Probably
Like,
get him in on it, like the Kim Kardashian, Ethereum Max Pump, all the same stuff.
Satoshi 69.
Yes,
Sitashi?
that's his name.
Takashi.
Takashi.
Same stuff.
Edison is his biggest fan as well, so you'd buy the 69 coin, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. I think he's really made for crypto. If he is not already, balls deep, it feels like someone you should just bring on to the 69 straight away. I think he gets it.
Yeah, you'd think he'd get it, right? I mean, so we can say like you can make his like teeth and like grill. We can make it an NFT or something. I don't even think he needs an explanation. Just in right away.
What's his name then? The one that is like driving the ATV all the time. Let's see if I can. Chief Keef. I think he's also. Chief Keef?
Dude, of course. All my friends from Chicago.
Ah,
bro.
nice. Yeah, this is. I guess all the rappers are already like heavily invested in crypto. It feels like the right kind of crowd.
Yeah, I think like it's probably easy for like rappers to get pitched on like NFTs and stuff, whether it be music NFTs or art and stuff. But like, dude, even a rapper just getting like chiefkeef.eth, I think is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
I should probably like donate. So funkmasterflex, he has a Twitter account, but he goes by funkflex. So maybe I'll send him funkflex.eth or something. Say sorry that I took his handle, but
Yeah,
I guess he's just happy to get the name cemented in the verse. Which kind of verse are
Yeah.
we at right now? Are we meta or are we kind of half there?
Meta 3.0 web, maybe. I don't know. Depends what we end up here. I don't think we're the ones who come up with the names. I think the Silicon Valley dudes, that's their day job.
Shout out to Chris
deciding what we
Dixon.
actually call it.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Dixon and all my pals. How many
All my
percent?
Silicon Valley pals.
How many percent like meta are you? Like how many percent of you are in the citation mark meat space, and how many percentage is floating away somewhere?
Oh, I mean, I don't think
Shared conscious reality, collective imagination kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't think we're too far into the metaverse yet. I don't know, maybe. I've grown up with an internet connection, either with a phone in my hand or like a computer when I was very young. So it depends on whose idea of metaverse. Maybe I've always been in it, but I mean, the fact is like I still don't talk about crypto and metaverse stuff with like in my daily life with people. So like I think we're still a bit a ways away. I mean, like the fact is you still talk about crypto these days with people, and it's either they're looking at purely as finance speculation, which fine, a lot of people are, or it's like talking about Dogecoin, like, oh, heard about Shiba Inu. So uh once we actually got people like doing things in the metaverse, whether it's hopefully it's our metaverse, not the Web 2 version metaverse.
Yeah,
But
fuck
I,
that.
I think once we're actually all in there doing stuff, I think we'll notice, and I think we'll know what we're doing. I think we'll know we're in the metaverse, I guess.
Yeah, this is turning very philosophical, pretty quickly. What's his name? Elon Musk? Yeah, that's his name. he's talking a lot about like being in a simulation and stuff like this. I'm guessing that's kind of how it will be in the metaverse. Some people are so stuck in the metaverse, so they're like, "Isn't this the real? You know, which one is the real here?"
Yeah, if you dropped an alien down in like street corner, they'd say everyone's on their phone and it's already happened. I don't
Yeah.
know. Uh, I'm not too into like VR. I mean, I haven't like purchased a headset, so that's probably why. I mean, I've tried it out. It's pretty cool. I guess that's like one version of it, which is like this is better. This is like trying to make like a crazy reality. I don't know. I think we're all sitting on our phones anyway, sitting on our computers anyway. So for us to act like doing things on the internet is like some like crazy metaverse experiment. Like it's not. It's like of course we're gonna create digital identities. Like what do you think was gonna happen? Like I'm on the internet for the next 50 years, 60 years. Like of course I want to organize some of my stuff and like not get spam emails every day and like be able to verify some things. Like I think it depends who you talk to. I mean, if you talk to a 70-year-old about the metaverse, like obviously they're not going to get it. So why am I having the conversation with them, you know? So I think time will catch it up a little bit.
It's shout out to all the 70-year-olds in crypto though. If you're here, come and talk to us. We want to fucking hear what's happening.
Yeah, I actually want to talk about metaverse with some 70-year-olds. I think how old were people when it was the crazy 60s and 70s, and they had really like grandiose ideas about the future, and then nothing happened.
Yeah, that must have been a
Those
fucking
those
bummer.
guys, I want to get those guys here.
I bet they'd agree with the things we're doing. I mean, the idea of like this like open internet, whether it be like monetary exchange, like information, it's powerful. I definitely think you'd find a lot of what people because I guess considered hippies. Like a lot of those people would probably look at what we're doing and say, yeah, like definitely should things should look more like that. And I mean, when it comes down to it, like the big innovation, the thing that gets me super excited is really like how these DAOs are forming and coordinating around whatever the goal may be. And like if you look at that from a very grandiose perspective, like someone growing up in the 60s trying to change the world, like that would probably be the structure they would use if they wanted to get a group of people together with some and have some power over what's going on, you know.
For sure, for sure. It's such a it's for me that was the one thing that got me like really sucked into this. I wouldn't call it a hole, but some kind of space at least. Like the fact that you could just spin up a community that quickly and iterate so quickly, get feedback. It's just I just saw the evolution happening so quickly, so rapid.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a regular Web 2 company, like they're always trying to get user feedback and they're always trying to get like information about like what other people think about their products. And like that could be at a two-person company, it could be at like a 40-person company. But if you open up the floodgates and try to form a DAO, especially in the earliest stages, like you're going to find out way more than you want to. Like you're going to find out a ton of information on your product, on the users you want, because it's all kind of colliding into you're a user, you may be an investor, you may just be like a bystander trying to learn, but it's all kind of turning into what can be called a community, what can be called like a bunch of gig economy employees. I mean, it's better than doing DoorDash and delivering stuff like that. Like you can sit in on Discord, maybe get paid, maybe you do some work, and if not, you just learn about the stuff. So I think it's a totally new model for sure, but I think it's gonna end up being a better one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of old.
absolutely.
I mean, I'm very, very, very like interested in what did people do like 10,000 years ago, and I guess that's what they were doing. I don't think they had like, yeah, this is a company and this is the customers and this is. I think everyone was just doing everything in a community the
Yeah,
same way that
doing
we
it.
are. Yeah, there's a lot to learn from old yeah, civilizations. I think. Shout out to Atlantis.
Shout out to them.
I definitely agree. That's like a good point though, because I mean, you would in like a if you look at it like a community of people, like a tribe, you'd have more people on the outside doing like helping out with little tasks. But I mean, if you're working in a company, even like the best startups, like they hire aggressively. They have 10, 15 people in the first year or two. Like you can't say a word about the like the stuff you're working on a daily basis to some random person on the street. Like you're working on everything. Like it's very closely held to what you're doing. You're not really looking for feedback. You're just trying to build stuff. And you come into a DAO and it's like, tell me everything. I need to know everything. I need to have a decision make. I need to be in the room when this decision's made. So it just flips on its head. So yeah, it'll probably take us a while to figure stuff out. But I mean, that's the world I'd definitely rather live in, and I know it's the same for like definitely people coming up at my age.
I'm very glad
Yeah.
to hear that.
It's like self-governing system. That's nothing new. It's just we put it on a blockchain and we use an internet connection to kind of enforce it. This just said, people have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, but they're experts. I'm very like intrigued by going to a tribe. I was in Panama where it's kind of a parallel system because they do have a government and everything, but it's super corrupt and people kind of just do what they want anyways. Maybe not in Panama City, but like in the 6 hours from Panama City. And they're really good at the kind of social weird situations that might occur, and everyone is so quick to kind of read up on someone, like what's their role, what are they doing, what's their function, like how to deal with people. And those kind of skills is something that I'm learning here and now because I'm in Web3, like working my ass off. But for these guys it's just completely normal.
Yeah, that's an interesting view. I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna catch up with time. I don't know. I look at a lot of these like coordination mechanisms, and it really like ends up all being like a political design, like whatever it may be. And I don't know if like I don't know if people being like politicians within DAOs, whether it's a DeFi protocol or just some sort of governance, like I don't know if that's the right way to do it, but it definitely like opens up the ball game for people. It puts you in a room, and if people think if people agree with you, then you can push forward. But if not, they're gonna let you know, which is definitely a good thing. Like I don't think there's anybody within these DAOs that like are trying to coordinate and they gain up power from like delegates or whatever. Like I don't think they're trying to do anything malicious, but it's just the fact that you kind of can that it ends up. I don't know. These structures end up being probably the same as when they were created, just on different rails. So yeah, hopefully we end up just being like a tribe and just working together.
Yeah. I kind of let's segue. This is a good segue into a question that I want to ask you, Mr. Flex, and that is, Badgerton and I, we're part of DAOs, but we're part of smaller DAOs, as big as IndexCoop. But can you tell us a little bit about what's how's like a regular week as a member and like contributor for a big structured DAO like IndexCoop?
For sure. Yeah. So I think a normal week is I wouldn't say lots of meetings, but obviously there's a ton of different things going on within the DAO. And like, so I work in a couple different working groups. I do business development stuff, but also I work on like DAO ops and coordination, which is fun. But like, so on Mondays we have a weekly stand up that's like everybody in the whole community can join in, and all the teams basically just give an update about what's going on. That's really what like drew me into working IndexCoop. Like I went to this thing and I was like, you have all these people from all over the world, like they're all working on totally different projects and they're somehow like still coordinated on it. Like people can still comment, like people can still talk about what they're working on and help when they need to. So that's like a normal Monday. We have like smaller team meetings on the business development side. Like throughout the week, we have like a Wednesday public meeting, and then another one on Thursday for like some DAO stuff. But really, it's just like any other company. You have a meeting, you talk over Discord or Slack or whatever it may be. We use Google Drive for documents and things like that, and we get things done. I mean, it's not as structured. I end up like messaging random anonymous people in Discord, and hopefully they get back to me. But they're coworkers, just like I am with another employee, and they really do good work. I mean, the reason I decided to go IndexCoop full time is because I had never seen like a group of talented people all like that, all like looking for like I guess a creative outlet as well. Like I went to an Ivy League school, like I met smart people, but I didn't see them as like passionate about projects like I've seen with people in crypto. So yeah, the whole atmosphere definitely drew me in, and I think the cool part about it is we'll keep expanding as we get bigger and as we find out better ways for our crazy group to coordinate.
So, like a company, but with meetings. Well, companies have meetings as well. Has to be some different. It has to be some other things though. It's like, has there been any surprises coming from a regular job?
You're right. There are probably other things. So yes, there have been some surprises. When I work for a normal company, like I check in the morning, I have to send some emails back in the morning. Like I gotta like everyone's like trying to get a pulse on what I'm doing. Maybe I send like some info to a supervisor, like this is what I'm working on, or this is like an update in the customer relationship manager, and like this is how it went, and I have a
Wonderful.
check-in meeting, and then I have like a meeting before the meeting, and it's like it gets to a point where like no one's getting work done. And I think at IndexCoop, and I think at DAOs it's different. It's like let's decide what the project is, but like actually working on the project, like we don't need to be looking over each other's shoulder like in a cubicle deciding what it is. And like I don't know if that's a remote work thing or if that's specific to DAOs, but it's like we're able to work very autonomously. And like when decisions do need to get made at like a wider scale, there's like this wisdom of the crowd that comes out. Like for example, like if I post something on governance forums, like it helps that I've been in the community for a while. It helps that people know who I am. It helps that like there's some context about some of the things I may have worked on in the past. But if it's a bad topic and like it's a bad proposal, like people will tell me. Like I'm not gonna squeak by just because people like me, or it's not gonna get through just because it's on a good topic. Like you actually have to push through a proposal, and it has to get voted on by your peers. So it kind of gives you this like guilt, I'd say. I don't know if that's the right word, but for me personally, it's like if I don't put in good work at IndexCoop, everyone's gonna know, and I'm not gonna get either taken seriously, or I'm not gonna uh, continue to like push forward IndexCoop as a whole. So it kind of works on like the lower levels between contributors, but also as like the larger DAO as a whole, I think. So yeah, that's a part that I don't know. I don't think any regular company can implement something like that or copy something like that.
Yeah. It's almost counterintuitive because the fact that you're anonymous and no one really knows who you are, um, you could get away with more. Instead, you have the difference in that I would assume that you feel more empowered and get to drive your own shit in a way you couldn't do a regular job.
Oh, you definitely get the freedom to work on what you want. I talk to a lot of like college students, like university clubs, like whether it's blockchain or Bitcoin or whatever. And I'm like, guys, like if you have a project you want to work on, just like let it down know and like tell them you can work on it. Like, and everyone will say yes. It's like the best part-time job ever. Uh, so I mean, yeah, and it's the cool part about all these DAOs. If you think that you can do something that's going to add value and you can prove that it's going to add value, someone will pay for it. Like absolutely, like why wouldn't you? Like a regular company gets pitched by business consultants all the time and things like that. It's like why would a DAO not look for something like that? It just kind of open source it when everything's on a governance forum. But yeah, I think it opens up work. I think really the biggest thing is people are much more creative in these DAO structures so far, at least. I didn't think I'd be able to work on three, four, five different projects that are really interesting to me. Like in my old job, it would be like, okay, pick one project. Maybe you can do this on the side, but in a big company, it'd be like have to change departments, and that's a different payroll structure, and blah blah blah. When the DAO, it's like okay, just like throw them in a coordinate circle, or just send them some tokens. Like it's not too crazy.
Shout out to apartments and payment structures. Uh,
True, true.
Do you my experience as a I don't know person, I am still at my old job, and I'm exactly what you're describing, enjoying the freedom in a DAO, being able to work and get like a creative outlet, and actually get stuff done instead of being stuck in meetings. Is this the same for all people in IndexCoop, or do you even have like people who just came from other types of places?
Group of people. That's the first thing, and I say that because we have a lot of traditional finance expats. I myself like worked in finance for a bit, but we have plenty of people like just do design or just do certain types of software development or are only on like the product side and like don't have purview into other areas, but mainly because they don't want to. I mean, you can really focus when you get into a DAO, which is cool. And let's say you have a full-time job, if you only want to do it for a few hours a week, like that's fine. As long as everyone has the understanding of this is what you can expect out of me, I think anyone can really add value. And like again, to make a parallel, I don't think it's too different than a Web 2 company. I mean, if you try to start a company, I mean, you have a bunch of advisors. Like, do you give them board seats? Do you give them equity shares in the company? Like, are they full-time advisors? Like, are you allowed to call them once a week? Like, do you have to pay them often? Like, it's just things you don't really know. Like, and it comes back. People always say like proof of work around IndexCoop, and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you want to get paid, like, just show you're doing work and helping, and you'll get paid. And you don't have to worry about it. Rather than, hey, I have this title and prestige, and I'm an advisor, and I'm on the board, so that means I deserve this amount. When who knows what you actually did, you know?
And you
Yeah.
use Coordinate, or like what do you use for just regular, I don't know, rewards?
Yeah, so most of IndexCoop just gets out like through you just send the tokens. It goes from like an Excel spreadsheet to say what you did with the work. It kind of gets passed around through some of the working group leads, some of the other teams. Some of our groups use Coordinate. I think our I think one of the you asked me earlier like the most surprising thing about working with the DAO. I was most surprised by how well Coordinate went for the pilots we did for one of our teams. I mean, I'd never seen like people openly talking about compensation and money like that. We normally have, and this is true for DAOs in general, there are normally a lot of disputes on contributions just because no one really knows like I guess it's tough to always see like who's making the decision, not so much how much am I making, but who decides how much I'm making is the bigger question. And I think with Coordinate, it was like, all right, everyone has a bias, but now it's like we're kind of canceling out all of our biases by doing it as a group. And I think it's worked really well. I mean, Yearn's come out with multiple different contribution frameworks in the past few weeks and months. So definitely needs to be thought about a lot more. But I mean, it gets me pretty excited when I compare it to a regular job. Like I really do think like this is the innovative part, how we're getting together and collaborating. So yeah, things like Coordinate have been awesome. I don't know. I talked to a lot of DAO tooling people working on DAO tools, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming. It seems like, which is exciting.
It's there are interesting areas in which, as you say, how rewards are calculated, who calculates a reward, and how one disputes it, maybe in a non-aggression, transparent and open way. Of course, it seems like some projects have figured out more or less, and then it's more about iterating, of course.
For sure. Yeah, I'd say some have figured it out, and some probably don't need to figure it out. Like there's a lot of like easy ways to tip and things like that, but really when it comes down to it, we don't want to create an HR. We don't want to make the same mistakes we made with companies in the past, and I don't think we're doing that. But I think the transparency helps a lot. The problem with like regular HR, human resources, like another company is like it's like a black box. No one knows what's going on. You kind of don't talk about compensation. So I think we've gotten to a point where like we're opening it up, and I hope we stay on that path because it's very very easy for all these DAOs to go, oh okay, that's not something we talk about anymore. Payroll's here, but we don't know who makes what. And I think it's gonna be like a long term thing. We're gonna have to like continually push if it's important to the DAO, and like that's the cool part. Like you may have a 5-person DAO, like you don't need to worry about stuff like that. You have a 10,000 person DAO and you're only doing this one task, like you don't have to worry about things like that. So it really gives you the flexibility in the structure, because just tokens in the end, you can kind of fix things and rig them how you want.
Yeah. Sure. Being a contributor at a big DAO, you of course you see other contributors and interact with them. For me and Badgerton and whoever would be listening to this, what makes a good contributor, in your opinion?
Yeah, good question. I've seen the best contributors. They're always not say talking about what they're doing, but like they're working out in the open. So like if you have something you're working on over a 3-week span, it's tough for everyone in the DAO to help you know what's going on and give you feedback and all that stuff. If after 2.5 weeks, the day before it's due, like you send it to them. Like what I do is like I have the document open and like we can all work on it together and you can leave comments or whatever. So that helps being open. I think the best DAO contributors just I think they're not trying to appease everybody all the time. There's like the idea of like, oh, you're in a DAO, you kind of have to be a politician if you want to get things passed. Like you have to make sure you appease everyone and everyone's on the right page. Like if you believe like something needs to happen within the DAO, like definitely push it forward. Like we're still a very rational group of people. Like we still run very much like a normal company, and sometimes like quick decisions have to get made. We run into a lot of problems where it's like, let's talk about this again, and let's kind of let's get more feedback and more stuff like that. But at some point, you kind of just have to make a decision. So there's been a lot of good contributors that I've worked with. It's just like, let's put it out on the governance forum and let's decide now. And like this is something that needs to happen. And oftentimes, like everyone kind of respects that contributor. So yeah, I'm actively trying to figure out what makes a good contributor. So definitely open up to your guys' thoughts as well, and definitely a good question to ask people.
Yeah, I think what you say resonate a lot with me. It's I think what I've seen, and at least what we're I'm trying to do, and Barriston, we're working in a DAO together, but it's transparency and good communication is, this is nothing new. It is in every company, in every kind of team setting, but it becomes even more important, in my opinion, and you're left to best voice, but most times writing. And if you need to communicate through writing, it needs to be clear, crystal clear. And that's one thing that, the better you can communicate, listen to others, and also speak your mind, it's you're going to help the DAO, and you're going to help others succeed in the best possible way. But as well, it's a tricky part, because it's not always easy to set the first step in motion. As in, let's say you're finding a DAO and you want to contribute, how would you do that? Because as you say, businesses get bombarded by business consultants, and DAOs get bombarded by scams all the time. So just because you're like, oh, hi guys, wow, super nice project, you're the 25th guy this week that has said that exact thing.
Yeah. No, and it's like, what else are they supposed to say? Like, how else are they supposed to introduce themselves,
Yeah,
Like,
fuck you guys, I hate you, but I want to contribute. Give me
Yeah, I
money,
will
please.
get interested. It's like a negging.
yeah,
Yeah.
just start roasting the whole team. I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah, you're right. There's definitely like a ton of talent trying to come in every day. I talk to people every day, and it's kind of a time thing. Like, we're always trying to measure for this like amount of trust. Like, how much would I be able to trust somebody if they wanted to work on this project with me? Like, how much do I trust them that they're going to be able to push through and help me with this project? I think a little bit of that is time. I think you can come in though and just be excited about wanting to learn about the project. I think everyone wants to come in and say, "Hey, what's my first task so I can get paid?" I don't know if that's the best way to look at it. At least like sustainably long term, like that can't be how DAOs operate. It can't just be like I stumble in and this is my job now. I mean, like we wouldn't
It would be
expect
fun
that.
though.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. And like I think a lot of things in crypto like have just happened in the past couple years because it's like been allowed to happen, I guess. Like, but I mean, you can stumble into a job for sure, but I don't think you're going to stumble into a full-time job. I don't think you're going to stumble into a very important role within a company or anything like that. But I mean, just like getting started within a DAO, like you can definitely move your way up in a fashion that like I don't think anyone's ever seen in terms of like getting power within the community, at least just like as a representative of other people. Like the first things I did when I joined IndexCoop and some other DAOs, like I took notes in some of the meetings. Like we have a global team. Like people don't always make it to the meetings. Notes and like video recordings much more helpful for DAOs and regular companies. So I think that was helpful. I would just go in and like ask questions. We used like Notion for all of our like day-to-day business stuff or in like little projects we're working on. So I'd go and just like comment on a project like, hey, someone need help on this, something like that. But really, if you want to contribute meaningfully within a DAO in the first month of you working there, you have to either get involved in a project or if you start your own project. And if you're good enough at whatever you think you're doing, or if you think you have good enough perspective to get the work done, and it ends up turning out good, I mean, people are going to pay you. I don't think there's a question in that. It's just what's the first thing I do in the DAO? And probably for most people, like it's nothing. It's just sit there and listen to what's going on, like and see where you can figure it out. Because you could be the most experienced in XYZ in your last company, and like you know how to do this specific skill. Because you're gonna come into DAO and it's gonna be different. You're gonna come into crypto and it's gonna be different. So you kind of just have to learn at first, I guess.
Yeah. You mentioned something that really resonated with me, and that is trust. Trust is it takes time to build trust, and it's a cumulative thing almost. Edgerton knows a lot about trust. It's I think one thing that we've seen when we talk to other people and in other DAOs, such as yourself, this one thing comes back, and that is solid people will always make sure to get you paid. But it could take a while until that payment comes. But I think in the end, it is a pretty good setup when you think about it. Because if you're not intrinsically motivated to contribute to something, you're not going to see the rewards for it either. If you come into something, as you said, oh, here's 5 hours of my work, give me money for it, you're not going to get the money, or you're just milking a DAO for the cash, and that's not such a nice behavior either. It's in the end, if you want to do cool shit, you got to be ready to show what you can do and be ready to show it for a period of time until people can trust you, essentially.
Definitely. And I don't think that's a crazy ask for new contributors. I think it sort of aligns everybody to, hey, what we're trying to do here. And like, the fact is, like, if you want to get paid, you're most likely going to get paid in the native token of that project. And that aligns everybody as well. I mean, obviously, you can go ahead and dump on the open market, but like, I wouldn't join a DAO unless I actually like thought whatever they're doing is going to go to some treasury that's going to go to some token that can actually have some value. So yeah, I think it aligns everyone very well. I mean, the whole idea of like having to measure trust is so difficult. I mean, it's difficult whether you're in crypto or not. It's difficult in just regular life walking down the street. But like, there's been some cool tools coming up. I know like SourceCred does a lot of stuff. I know there's like a lot of teams trying to work on like, hey, if you do some work, like, uh, here's an NFT version that you can put on chain, and like your resume is in. Like, I could basically put my resume on funkmasterflex.eth, and like that's all someone would need to like to I guess trust that I've done work in the past, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do work in the future. So uh, really, I think it just comes down to time. I don't know. I'd love to hear like maybe like some of the tools you guys have seen or used, or if you think like, do you even think a tool can measure like trust within someone, or like, or if can you stake tokens to measure trust that you're going to actually do it, or can you stake like the way you work with people? Like, I've heard a lot of stuff like that, which is interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I actually work in practice.
I have a very like controversial thoughts on this topic, I think, because I really want to not use tools and not use processes as much as is possible and use it as a last resort. So I really resonate with the time. Just in the end, it's still going to be interactions between people, even if they might happen, in Discord or speaking or like in meetings over a period of time. But we are kind of for me, that would be the only sustainable way to do it. And you will fuck up a lot of times, you will learn a lot of times, but all the tools that you do will be so easily gamed. So I'm not so sure all that effort, how much value you will get in the end.
That's definitely not a hot take. I definitely think that's a good opinion. I mean, I don't know if it's amplified in crypto, but I think everyone tries to game everything in crypto. Like, we've even seen it trying to give out like POAPs. Like, you send out POAPs and you got like people farming these POAPs and like bots looking for the little looking for the links. It's crazy. And like, that's not even to mention like all the insane messages all over Twitter and Discord. Yeah, I do agree. If there's a measure, someone's gonna figure out a way to game it. I agree. I just it's tough when you're in a DAO and you talk to new people and you go, hey, you're gonna have to wait some time because everyone comes in like ready to go. I'm ready to go now. Like, give me something to do. So I hope there are certain things we can give them to do, and I think a lot of DAOs are getting this correct. Um, Whether it just be like talking about us on Twitter, like maybe writing up an article, like setting up an event, things like that. Like, I think Kraus House is a good example. Like trying to buy a basketball team, like obviously is a long term goal. Like I see myself as someone in Kraus House as like, listen, it's like a cool group of people. Like I'm definitely aligned with them on like liking sports. I don't know if we're gonna buy a basketball team, but it's like when I need to be activated by that DAO, like when they decide here's this action you can take, like I'm ready to go. Like I'm in the Discord, they can send me a message and I can do something because I'm aligned in their vision. And like that may take 10 years, but when it comes down to it, uh, it kind of have like a workforce that's ready to go when they want it, which like a normal company could never expect that. Like you don't pay them like they're gone. So it adds this like bigger as a it adds this like school of fish mentality. It's like bigger as a group, more powerful as a group.
Totally agree. I like the analogy as well with a school of fish. I think I told Drunk Boy earlier that I'm like a school of fish. Like difficult, you can't touch me. I'm just floating around. There's a. I want to change my thesis because you said it perfectly. It's not that I don't believe in tools or processes. It's just that those tools and processes, as you were mentioning, it's going to have to be these weird vision, or it's going to have to be spinning up an article. If there's a tool to help a DAO coordinate those things, then I for sure believe that those things are very useful.
Definitely. And I think it depends on what it is. So like if we look at it's like IndexCoop, we have impression mining on Twitter. Definitely something you can game. You can send out a million tweets and somehow get a bunch of bots to look at the tweet and interact with it, whatever. That can be games, but I guess you notice when it's gamed. Like another thing we're looking at is like we have community managers, like a sort similar to like a help desk. Like if you ask like how to buy the product, we go in and help you and figure out your wallet setup, stuff like that. Hopefully, don't get scammed along the way. But we do that, and like maybe you measure that by the number of Discord messages you send. But then someone comes in and sends a million Discord messages, and they game the system. Um, so I think you can do it. I think there always most likely has to be like a group or centralized some sort of figure that pushes it out. But I mean, at least we're trying stuff like this. Like at least we're trying to figure out ways to interact like this. I mean, normally it's like, hey, here's some work I think I'm gonna do. Somebody, your boss comes back with HR and says, here's what we think is valuable to you. You're not gonna work the times you think. You're just gonna do it this way. So it's definitely. I'm just glad we're thinking about it differently, to be honest.
Yeah, that's why I've never been in an organization or a setting where it's so easy to try things. And just if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like, there's not going to be any sad faces, or not like any insanity projects where you keep something going just for the sake of some person having a business case that is never going to to be fulfilled. You learn the first day that okay, this doesn't work, and instead of just trying something else or reversing it, you just continue 5 years building a new infrastructure platform. I don't know, changing the entire what do you call it? Enterprise resource planning system, ERP.
Exactly. And if someone wants to change that, like that can be their project they can work on, but don't make me do it. Like if it's not good enough, for like you to work on and you to have like a real stake in, then it's probably not good enough. That's probably a personal opinion, but yeah.
We like those. Personal opinions are that's why you're here.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like, give us more. Do you have any more unpopular personal opinions? We had
Lay 'em on.
We've had everything, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. We talk about, so the reason I joined Index is because there's obviously a ton of things going on in crypto. Like I would hate just to pick DeFi. I would hate like just to pick metaverse stuff. Like we talk about data infrastructure all the time. Like like the Graph Network, Chainlink, like LivePeer, like Arweave, like those will probably be much bigger than like all the DeFi stuff we're working on. Like that'll like I always get surprised that like regular tech people don't get into crypto, and it's probably because they just don't want to deal with the finance part of it. But like there are parts of crypto that just like aren't finance, which is like which is interesting to me because like we can try to make everything into Robinhood. Like we could try to make everything like easy for a retail investor. But like the fact is like most of the time you don't want to do everything as a retail investor. You don't have expert opinion on everything and every strategy. So it's helpful that it's all open, but I think really when it comes down to it, like, and I look at this like when I finally got like a hardware wallet at some point was probably like when my idea changed about like actually owning, whenever like a few years ago, whenever that was like actually owning this stuff is gives you like a much different idea of what you're doing on the internet. And I don't even think it needs to be like financially related. Like passwords are a huge fucking mess on the internet. Like obviously I can't just sit here and create another password every day for the next 50 years. Like that needs to be fixed, like of course. Like I don't like I have a bunch of favorites on my Google Chrome or like Brave browser or whatever. Like I don't have any way of organizing that. I don't have any way of organizing like all the documents I have. It's just like kind of all over the place. So I think data infrastructure is going to be huge. I don't know what it's going to look like, but like I mean, my music lives with Spotify. Like I don't have my music. Yeah, I can download it and put it like on my computer, but that means I have to take my computer everywhere. Like if I
Yeah.
yeah, I just think we're going to get to a point that if it's not crypto, like you're just not going to want to use it because it's not even the trust. It's that just at some point the competition is gonna come, and why would you want it centralized when it can be open to everyone, but also like owned by everyone? Is the big thing, which may take forever, but I think I'll be here for it. So
So 5 years away from now, what will funkmasterflex be doing?
oh, definitely in crypto still. Um, Hopefully not DeFi, to be honest. Like I love DeFi, but the cool part about DeFi is like I hope once we build all this stuff that it just runs by itself, you know? That's like the whole idea of like wanting to pick up like tokens. Like these things are just gonna go. Like Uniswap is gonna be Uniswap. Like I don't really know how many changes we're gonna like everyone's gonna have to keep making to these things. Like borrowing and lending, like the whole promise of DeFi to me is that it's just going to go by itself and everyone's going to collect the profits. And that may mean all the fees go to zero, but I don't know if that's a bad thing either. So yeah, I think I'll be working in crypto, hopefully something fun. I also do a lot of work in renewable energy. So that was like my job before this. I basically design solar microgrids with like battery projects. Still
Yeah.
do some work in that area. So that's super fun to me. I mean, obviously like crypto mining is pretty interesting field. But yeah, kind of crypto's like the make believe virtual world, and then I kind of get grounded every once in a while and like need like actual energy and electrons, like get some of this stuff done. But kind of moving away from focusing on the energy stuff, which was what I'd been doing for the past few years before full time crypto.
That's some cool shit, man. Uh, I guess we're gonna have to have you back for the energy dissection then, funkmasterflex. But I have one last question for you because our hour is almost out.
For sure, for sure.
Let's say we would have a zombie apocalypse in 5 years instead. What would be the best skill to have for a zombie apocalypse in your opinion?
What would you
Yes,
choose?
Yeah.
Dude, that is another good question. I think the best skill would be like knowing like well, I shouldn't say knowing how to read a map because there's a lot of people who don't know how to read a fucking map and wouldn't know where to go. But like I think like being able to like with a compass just like go a direction, like hey, zombies are this way, like you need to get out of here, you need to get over a mountain or go to like some area that's covered by water maybe. But I always like the question like zombie apocalypse, like where you'd go. I just think there'd be like a gazillion people at, like Costco, like all trying to break the door down, and you definitely die. Definitely
Yeah.
die if you just like I'm going to Costco or like I'm going to like Bass Pro Shops. It's like no, everyone's gonna go there. Hopefully you decide to go somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I don't know, dude. I definitely like if I made a shit ton of money in crypto, I'd definitely get one of those crazy like doomsday bunkers just to like say I had one. It'd be so fun, you know.
Yeah, but then if you build yourself a doomsday bunker, you gotta get a lot of fucking guns because everyone is gonna find out about the supplies you've been gathering for the last 10 years.
Don't worry, bro. I live in America. I can get some guns. No problem.
Are you voting for Biden or Trump?
Hopefully Trump doesn't run again. But I actually live in California, so guns and politics usually lean pretty left. So, but
Depending
no,
on
it's
where. Newport Beach.
I'm in Southern California. Yeah, Orange County, pretty
Oh
Ah, nice.
yeah, boy! I was
Oh,
living
let's
in
go.
Huntington Beach for a year.
Oh, nice. Super close, bro. Yeah, I mean, I left for school and just like I came right back. It's just like definitely one of the best places in the world for sure.
Let's maybe we remove the last part there just for the sake of the ambiguous funkmaster flex.
Ah, true.
All good. It doesn't, dude. I go by my first name with a lot of people I work with. It's more of a fun thing. I think everyone works in traditional finance and thinks I got to show up in a suit and tie every day. I definitely don't want to push that anymore. I think we're far past that, thankfully.
Fuck that shit.
That's how you build trust. It's so interesting to hear. Actually, I think doxing is fun, and I like being a badger. But in the end, I think the people that I work with closely, they know enough about me to dox the shit out of me if they want to.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And there's like the crazy part of the broader DAO community, like the broader crypto ecosystem. But like when it comes down to it, the people we're working with just want to work together, you know. So I don't think it's too crazy. But definitely it's so much better on Discord to go by funkmasterflex than just some regular government name, you know. That's fun.
Yeah,
Government name.
sure.
Government name, exactly.
One that my parents gave me, the government name.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
Dope,
right.
guys. This was awesome. Really appreciate it. Happy to chat.
Yeah,
That was
super
fucking
sweet.
it's fucking great to have you join, man. It's it's